All right. Welcome inside the War Room alongside Chris Schroyer. I'm Shrikar Rajendran. $1 Million question, where is Sam? He will not be joining us today. He's at work. He's putting in a grind. He's doing his thing. But hey guys, we're very sorry. We've been behind in terms of live streaming and we've only been putting out prediction videos. We want to put out a lot more content. I just feel like, I don't know. Me personally, I've been in kind of a funk with MMA just throughout this whole betting scandal. We had 2 Apex cards, and it's hard to keep, because this channel is kind of it's our hobby, right? So if you don't want to put the time in, then it's like we're not going to go out of our way. But we are going out of our way for this card. I will tell you that. If there's any card that's going to break us out of the funk, it is UFC 322. Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev in the main event. Obviously, Islam going for double champ status. Co-main event, Zhang Weili moves up to flyweight, goes for double champ against the reigning defending champion Valentina Shevchenko, who has ruled over this division for so long. Could Zhang Weili be her biggest? I mean, it is her biggest test yet at the weight. Chris, we go through the whole card. What do you think, man? I think this is a really, really stellar card all around.
I do too. I mean, MSG, like I said, it's categorized in like the mecca of fighting arenas throughout the world. And they always try to put on a good card because obviously, labeled as one of the most, or actually not even one of the most, labeled as the world's most famous arena. Some crazy events have happened at MSG, and UFC has put on some pretty spectacular cards there. Last year, the ball was dropped.
The ball was most definitely dropped.
We'll put it that way. But yeah, I think that this is a great bounce back for the UFC in their return to New York, which is become an annual thing since they got the rights to do it and the commission allowed it in 2015. I feel like a lot of people look forward to the New York cards, and you want to make it a big spectacle because it's almost like a celebrity event. UFC events, the big pay-per-views have kind of become like a celebrity event, as have many sporting events in New York. If you've noticed, like the US Open or just Knicks games in general. I want to go to a Knicks game. $250 every game. I don't have that bread. Sadly, I said I was going to go to this event. I dropped the ball. I didn't buy the tickets off rip. They are now $800. And
hey, check during the week though. I mean,
I will.
I am broke. You only have a couple more days, but I mean,
I do. I'm going to check on Friday. See where the tickets are at. But I am very down to just go to one of the boys' house or go to a bar, enjoy the fights there for, I would say, $700 less. But yeah, I think it's a great card all around. I'm very excited. A lot of these fights have big implications, which I think is something that you want to look for. You want to see if a fight is entertaining and then if it has implications. And I think that if it has one of the two, you're in good hands. If it has both, you're really, really lucky. And I think that this card has it all. We have some huge welterweight fights on this card, massive implications. Yep. So I'm very excited for that division. Also, some very big women's fights as well. Like we have probably two of the 3 women's MMA GOATs going at it. And then you have Tracy Cortez taking on Erin Blanchfield, which also has massive implications in that flyweight division. So yeah, top to bottom, I'm excited. I think we're going to see a good amount of finishes on this card.
Yes.
You'll hear it in my predictions, but my seismograph meter, whatever. However they grade earthquakes, it's on my Richter scale is probably at like an 8 right now, and I think it's gonna get higher than that.
I think Richter scale was the phrase you're trying to go for.
I dropped the ball on that one, just like UFC did last year at MSG, but hey, I'll recover.
Yeah, 100%. I think this will also be a finish heavy card. We're going to go through the entire card, top to bottom, give you our predictions for every single fight. Before we jump in, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, turn the post notifications on, share the video, follow the socials down below. Let's get right into it with our early prelim opener of Viecheslav Borshchev versus Matheus Camilo. And honestly, this is a great matchup to start the night. I like Camilo a lot. He is the better grappler. He's younger, he's faster, he's more well-rounded. And stylistically, this is his kind of fight. Slava Claus has fun striking, clean kickboxing, good combos, nasty body kicks. But once this thing hits the mat, his ceiling drops fast. The grappling has improved slightly, but not enough to survive a guy like Camilo. Camilo brings real Brazilian Muay Thai on the feet, but more importantly, he brings a dangerous, opportunistic submission game. He's only 24 years old and has a ton of upside. Slava's last few fights, McKinney ran through him. Tom Nolan outstruck him. James Yontop gave him a tough fight. Slava is what he is. Fun striker, limited everywhere else. Camilo's debut loss doesn't bother me. Gabe Green is a very tricky fighter, and Camilo still nearly tapped him. I don't know. I think the line doesn't, make sense. Camilo opened as a dog and is now the rightful favorite. I will say Matheus Camilo.
Go out there. He can stand with the best of them. But as soon as it hits the mat, he is at a clear disadvantage. And he has made strides, but that Terrence McKinney fight really opened my eyes to, I would say, how limited Slava Claus is. He was dominated on the ground in less than a minute. Like you said, James Yontop even gave him a decent fight. And no disrespect to James Yontop, but, if you're going like band for band, you'd probably expect Slava Claus to just run through him, and he wasn't able to. But I think Camilo is very talented, and he's young. I feel like he is I would say he has a decently high ceiling. I would love to see him use this as a somewhat noteworthy win on his resume. He's very aggressive. He kind of just keeps pressing. He's going to have the striking disadvantage, don't get me wrong, but he's a very aggressive grappler. When he is on the ground, he looks for submissions in every position that he is put in, from the back, side control, top mount. And I think that's really going to be the difference here. I don't see him conceding much ground on the ground, no pun intended. But yeah, I think that he's just going to be pushing the pace a little bit more than Slava Claus. And I think he's going to be a lot more comfortable wherever the fight goes. And I think that Matheus Camilo by submission is a great pick. And I'm going to say he's going to do it in the first round. I do not see this fight going very long. And like I said, this is a win that he's going to want to get on his record and, start making his way through this lightweight division that is one of the, if not the premier division in the UFC. So yeah, I'm excited for this fight. I think this is a very good fight to open the night and get an early finish on the board and, hopefully get people in their seats early. I know MSG, we talk about some of these big fights when they're in big locations, popular locations. Not everyone gets to the arena early, except for Theo Vaughn. Shout out Theo Vaughn. You're a dog, because I would do the same thing that you do. My butt would be in my seat at 5:30 because this is starting at 6, waiting. So yeah, I think this is a great fight to start the night, and hopefully we see an early finish. And I think it's going to be Matheus Camilo. I did not realize he's 24 too. That's awesome.
Yeah, young guy, still got a lot of potential in this division. I'm excited to see where he goes from here. Camilo by sub is the pick from the both of us. Let's move on here to a big time favorite. Some would say the next Sean O'Malley, and by some I would say Sam Corcoran. Baisangur Susurkaev versus Eric McConico. I'm gonna give it to you right here. I know you're going Susurkaev. When do you think he gets this done?
It's kind of hard to tell, especially after his last fight. I'm actually checking what the odds are on this fight because they were not out. And I know we're kind of straying away from talking about
on the UFC site. It lists him as a minus 1,000. I think minus 1050.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty fair. I think McConico gets through the first round. And it's only because, I don't know, I feel like Susurkaev, he 1,000% has the tools to get him out of there early. It's kind of interesting because his last fight against and I'm gonna butcher his name. He was
Eric Nolan.
Eric Nolan. Yes, I was gonna say Tom Nolan, but that's completely wrong division. Yeah, Eric Nolan. Eric Nolan did great in that first round, and I think that's just because Susurkaev kind of took him lightly. He didn't really, push the issue, and I think that he honestly might learn from that. You know what? Screw it. I'm not going to say second round. I think he gets him out of there in the first round. And I'm going to say sub. I think he's going to get it done by sub. I think we're going to see a healthy amount of takedowns from Susurkaev because McConico's tough. He can stand on the feet, and we saw that with Cody Brundage. He ate some big shots in that fight. He's pretty durable, and I think that the best path to victory for Susurkaev, if he really kind of just wants to mail in his victory, is just shoot the takedowns. We've seen him grapple. He's a very good grappler. He's friends with Hamzat. He is Dagestani as well. So I think he's going to live up to the Dagestani heritage, shoot some takedowns, get him to the ground. And I think we're going to see, I'm going to say by Darce choke. How about that? Susurkaev by Darce in the first round.
There you go. And this is one-way traffic. Susurkaev is the real deal, a blue chip Chechen prospect, 10-0, has elite athleticism. His striking is sharp. His wrestling is already UFC level. People downplay that Eric Nolan fight because he got clipped early, but he fought twice in 6 days. He was drained and still dominated.
I agree.
McConico is tough, but he's basic. Straightforward pressure, basic boxing, basic wrestling. And he's 35, facing a young, explosive prospect. Susurkaev has 8 knockouts for a reason. McConico's 3 losses, all by knockout. I think this is a perfect stylistic storm. I will agree with the round 1 finish for Baisangur Susurkaev. I think he's going to get it done by knockout. I think he's going to keep it on the feet. And I think he's literally going to just put McConico out. I think he's just going to get him out of there. I think there will be levels shown here, to say the least. I think Susurkaev will make good on being a minus 1,000 favorite. Both of us locking in the first round finish for Baisangur Susurkaev as a minus 1,000 favorite. We're not telling you to bet his money line. If you want to bet something, you go ahead and bet the method. But even the method bets may not be that juicy in all likelihood. So if you want to just enjoy Susurkaev taking apart McConico, then just tune into the fight and enjoy it.
I definitely would probably just enjoy this fight unless you have the bankroll to be like, oh, if you saw $100 on the ground, would you pick it up? I love those memes. Those are so funny. If you saw $300 on the ground, would you pick it up? The answer is yes, if I had the money to actually bet that. But yeah, so Susurkaev by sub is plus 650. Him by knockout is minus 300. So maybe I'm not fully in tune to what Susurkaev is gonna do to Eric McConico.
I think it's just because McConico normally just gets clipped. Right. I think that's the big thought process. He could win by sub. It's not, it's very much possible. What are his odds on a round 1 finish, just for peace of mind?
Round 1 finish. Baisangur Susurkaev. Him to win by knockout in the first round is minus 150. Let's see him in round 1. Let me find this. Okay. Round props. Okay. Minus 160. Not bad odds.
That's not bad. I think that would be your play if you want to do anything, but both of us going with Baisangur Susurkaev. We go from one prospect to the next. Angela Hill versus Fatima Kline. I have been high on Fatima Kline since her debut. Even though she dropped her first fight, I think the raw talent was very obvious, and now she is refining that talent fast. She is bigger, longer, has the stronger grappling base. She mixes in her wrestling well. Her striking is coming along beautifully. Look no further than that head kick knockout against Melissa Martinez. Look, Angela Hill is a legend, high volume, good cardio, very well-rounded fighter, but she is 15 years older. She has struggled with strong grapplers historically, and Kline is exactly that. Kline can strike with her early, but eventually the grappling takes over. Top pressure, passing, back takes. Hill is going to be defending for much of this fight. Angela Hill can definitely survive, but I see Kline winning most of the positions. I'm going to say Fatima Kline gets it done over 3. I think she gets it done by decision, but I will also say the submission is also very live in this case. I think that Fatima Kline on the ground is no joke at all. She can definitely submit Angela Hill. Can Angela Hill pull off some sort of craftiness? Maybe, but ultimately, I think this is just going to lead to her getting to the scorecards and eventually losing. So give me Fatima Kline in this one.
Yeah, Fatima Kline, very solid prospect, 8-1. She's actually, I believe she's from New York. I'm going to double check that. Yeah, she's fighting out of New York. So this is a home fight for her. I know, that might not mean that much. She's actually born on Long Island. Shout out Long Island. She's actually born in the same place that my mom lived. Kind of crazy. So I feel like I have to pick her. But I'm going with the gatekeeper, Angela Overkill Hill. Shrikar, you did lay it out perfectly. I mean, there is obviously a path to victory for Fatima Kline, and I would not be surprised at all if Fatima Kline won. And this might be a pick where, check our Instagram on Saturday morning. We will drop the full prediction graphic so you guys can know. Some of these picks might be subject to change, but as of right now, on Wednesday, this will be up on Thursday, I'm going to pick Angela Hill. I don't know. I just feel like this is a spot where I feel a sneaky Angela Hill victory. She is a lot older, which does raise some concern. It does raise some concern on my side as well, picking her. I feel like there's just a lot of value in her, and she's kind of been that fighter almost. I'm going to compare her to Neil Magny. They match up prospects with her to see where these prospects are at. Not as much as, oh, we're going to push you, Angela Hill, into the rankings. Like, her time is obviously coming to an end soon, but she is the measuring stick in this strawweight division. And I think that Fatima Kline, great grappler, but sometimes she just, I don't know, she gets a little bit lazy. I feel like her takedowns are kind of airmailed in. They're very unorthodox and they do work. The two fighters that she beat in the UFC, she is 2-1 in the UFC. She lost to Jasmine Jasdavicius. Obviously, we know what Jasmine is capable of. She's a great fighter.
Not a bad loss.
No, exactly. That's honestly a great loss to have as your one on your record. But Victoria Dudakova and Melissa Martinez, both not in the UFC anymore. Obviously, she took care of them very handily. She won both fights by finish, and both of them were by knockout. And the Melissa Martinez fight, beautiful head kick. So we know that she is striking. Excuse me, but I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna side with the vet here. This is, I would say, more of a pure value pick, and just I don't know if Fatima. I don't know the ceiling of Fatima Kline yet. I think I'll have a better estimate after this fight. But yeah, the pure value pick here. And I think Angela Hill can get it done. I think she could at least win a round. I'll say that. So if it's 1-1 going into the third, it's anyone's fight. She might be able to pull out some. Say it again.
Cheeky little spread play if you want.
Little spread play. We talked about this last prediction video. I asked Shrikar and Sam, hey, have you ever done spread plays? It's not like the most, eye-popping or best cosmetic pick that you could take. Actually, her spread is 5.5 right now. So they're thinking a 29, 28, 30, 27, 30, 27. That's how I guess Vegas is looking at it. But I do see value in Angela Hill. She's a crafty vet. She can pull out the vet moves, and against a kind of a up and coming prospect in Fatima Kline, that might be, something to take note of. So as of right now, I'm going to go Angela Hill, and obviously I'm going to go by decision. I do not see Angela Hill finishing her, but hopefully Fatima shows out in her home state. And yeah, I think it'll be a solid fight for how much a women's strawweight bout can be.
We'll see. I do just feel like Kline is good enough to pass the test. So I will be going with Fatima Kline, but this is where we find our first crossroads of the card.
Yes.
Chris going Angela Hill. I'm going Fatima Kline. Let's move on here. This is one. I mean, you talk about the picks that could flip, and I've been very nice with the pick flips recently. If you have been paying attention to our Instagram, Pat Sabatini and Chepe Mariscal, I've been flip-flopping on this essentially since last week. Definitely a deja vu moment. Their fight in 2018 was razor close. This rematch is almost certainly going to be tight again. Chris, I'm going to let you go first on this one as I kind of formulate my thinking. Who you got in this one?
Sure. Yeah. No. And you mentioned it. They did fight in, what was it? Victory FC in 2018. Razor close split decision. Chepe Mariscal came out with the victory, and that was a long time ago. So it's kind of hard to use that as a measuring stick for this fight. Obviously, both fighters have evolved and are very solid, in my opinion. Pat Sabatini, tremendous grappler. Tremendous. He gets you down to the ground. He's going to hold you there. He's going to work great at BJJ. And he's worked on his hands, too. His stand-up game has improved. Chepe Mariscal, he just has a dog in him that gets unleashed when he faces adversity. He charges forward and he just puts pedal to the metal. He puts on a very high intensity pressure that a lot of fighters aren't able to deal with. I think this fight's going to go to decision. I think it's going to be a very hard fought victory for the winner. And I'm going to side with Chepe Mariscal in this one. I've seen Pat Sabatini kind of crack a little bit under pressure. If he's not able to secure his takedowns and hold you down there where he wants the fight to be, I've seen him kind of, dwindle away as the fight goes on. Obviously, he doesn't completely fade. But a fighter like Chepe Mariscal, if you're not able to hold him down, he's just going to come at you constantly on the feet. He's very good at getting back up. His takedown defense isn't the best, but he's always working to get back up. He has a solid ground game himself. Pat Sabatini is also, I believe he was a collegiate wrestler, very good wrestler. So it's going to be a little interesting to see how this fight goes. I'm going to side with Chepe, though, because I just think that the pace that he's going to push is going to be a little bit too much for Sabatini. And I like I said, I've seen it before. And I think that a fighter like Chepe Mariscal is that, if we're going by like 2K terms, that like archetype or that build that poses problems for Pat Sabatini. Chepe doesn't have tremendous power. He does have power, though. He has sharp striking, clinical striking, and he'll tag you up. He'll make you pay if you, put yourself in positions of peril. So I'm going to go with Chepe by decision. Like Shrikar said, this is also a fight that might flip for me, but I do like the value in Chepe here. So yeah, that's who I'm going to side with.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like, if I was going to bet a side on this fight, I would probably bet the underdog here, because Chepe as an underdog is very, very tempting. Obviously, Chepe brings pressure, volume, scrambles, chaos. He's a relentless guy. But Pat Sabatini has the cleaner grappling, more polished wrestling, better positional awareness. And that Brito win, that told me a lot about where Sabatini is.
That was impressive.
That was high-level stuff. Chepe has been fun on his run. Damon Jackson, Charrier, Jack Jenkins, Trevor Peake. But he's not blowing anyone out of the water. He's winning gritty fights, but he's also getting himself into messy exchanges constantly. Mm-hmm. In a scramble-heavy fight, you want the guy who consistently wins positions, and I think that's Sabatini. I think this is going to be close, competitive. But as of right now, I think Sabatini gets more top control, edges a decision. I'll say Pat Sabatini gets it done 29-28. But really, I don't know. This is definitely one that could switch. Because again, if I was going to bet a side, it would be Mariscal. I would bet Chepe. So in that sense, I would have to go Chepe. But give me Sabatini for right now. We'll see what happens on Friday. But that's definitely one that I'm going to keep tabs on. I'd love to see weigh-ins. Mm-hmm. I want to see
definitely
what they look like on the scales, but this is a really good matchup. I think this is going to be an absolute banger. Should be a fun fight over all 3 rounds.
And you mentioned the Joe Anderson Brito fight, and that kind of was weighing on my mind too, because Joe Anderson Brito, I wouldn't say fights like Chepe Mariscal, but they're both very physical guys. Exactly, brings the pressure. They're both physical. So if Pat Sabatini was able to, kind of manhandle a physical fighter like Joe Anderson Brito, it might be trouble for Chepe Mariscal. It's just it's going to come down to the scrambles.
And this time he's going to have a bigger cage too.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that was in the Apex. It's always fun to evaluate. Oh, okay, this fight is going to take place in a 25-foot cage, right? I believe it's 25 feet and then 20 feet. So that's 25 square feet that you're not able to circle around and get away from someone. And that could either be great for Pat Sabatini or bad, because in a smaller cage, you're able to, there's less area for your opponent to run, and you can run someone up against the fence. But yeah, it's going to come down to the scrambles in this fight. I could pretty much guarantee that. But yeah, this is also a very tricky fight. I think it's honestly, I think the odds are perfect too. It should not be a huge favorite. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, it should be more essentially pick 'em odds.
Exactly. And maybe we'll see the line change as it gets closer to Saturday, as most fights do. But yeah, interesting fight. I'm excited for that one too.
All right, let's get into the last fight of the early prelims. Kyle Daukaus versus Gerald Meerschaert. Gerald Meerschaert, look, he's had an amazing career, but the decline is here. He is 37. He just got blasted by Michal Oleksiejczuk. Kyle Daukaus, he's hitting a stride. He came back to the UFC with that huge win over Michel Pereira, and the boxing looked sharper than ever. He's long, accurate. His southpaw stance, I think, will be a big problem for GM3. We've seen GM3 struggle badly with southpaws. We've seen his chin go, and we've seen his wrestling fall off. Daukaus also has good defensive grappling. He's not just going to hand GM3 a takedown or, let him wrap up a submission. I think the timing and straight lefts find the target early and often. I'm going to say Kyle Daukaus puts out GM3. Sad to say, this could be the end of the line for Gerald Meerschaert, especially if this is a brutal knockout, which it very well could be. But I'm going to go Kyle Daukaus by KO.
Yeah, definitely. Back to that Daukaus Michel Pereira fight. Who expected that? Like, that was crazy work. And I don't know if it was because Daukaus came out ready to fight and Pereira came out not ready to fight. I mean, obviously it was halfway across the globe, more than halfway across the globe for us, at least. Actually, it's closer to you than it is to me. But yeah, I mean, I think that this resurgence for Kyle Daukaus is something to take note of. I mean, he went to, where'd he go? He went to Cage Fury Fighting Championships,
yep.
And he ran the regional scene. I think that wake up for him getting cut by the UFC in his last fight against Eric Anders, he lost to Delize and Eric Anders back to back. That was a wake up call for him because he looks like a completely different fighter. And I feel like I can't evaluate Kyle Daukaus on what he was. I need to evaluate on what he is now. And if that Pereira fight is any sign of what is to come for him in the future, he is a decently high ceiling. I'm excited for this version of Kyle Daukaus. And like you said, Gerald Meerschaert, the time is near, my friend. I mean, it just feels like when you're in the cage, you just don't want to be there. Like he just doesn't look excited to fight. It looks like he's fighting for a check. Like that's how it feels. That's the vibes that I get from him. And nothing wrong with that. Look how many pro fights he has on his career right there in the record, middle of the screen. 57 pro fights, 37-20. He's been in the game for a long time. Honestly, props to him for, still coming out and at least and trying and, showing he still has it. Look, Gerald Meerschaert by sub, I guess it's always live. It's always live.
Hey,
I guess it's live for any fighter.
If this gets to the third round, I might, I would at least consider throwing some money on Gerald Meerschaert just because you know the nature of it. But I don't think this even sees a third round. So.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going Daukaus first round knockout. I think he gets him out of there quickly. We see another, I'm going to say highlight finish from Kyle Daukaus, and hopefully he starts climbing back up the middleweight rankings. He was a ranked middleweight at one point. He was not bad. It was just those two fights against Delize and Anders that kind of opened the UFC's eyes, and I think opened his eyes as well. So, we'll see. But Daukaus by first round knockout, juicy as ever. Let's see what the odds are on that, because I might have to.
The website has it listed.
Hammer that.
Website has
not even up.
Okay, so website has minus 425 for Kyle Daukaus, plus 330 on Meerschaert, which I guess doesn't give you much in terms of betting value on the money lines unless you're a big GM3 fan. You really think you're really thinking about a crafty vet upset here, but Daukaus is a vet in his own right. It's not like it's a prospect against a vet.
Yeah, I cannot. I did find the odds on this fight. Daukaus by knockout is plus 175.
I think that's really good value. Yeah, I think that's a solid bank.
Yeah, him by submission is plus 275. I don't see that happening. GM3 is solid on the ground. Him by decision is plus 225. The over-under is 1.5 at minus 175. Is that telling? A little bit. Yeah. Do I think it's going to happen? No.
It could be telling, and I think that's why the decision odds are as low as they are. But yeah, we'll both side with the finish here. Kyle Daukaus to get it done by finish. Let's move on to the prelims. Ooh. Oh, baby, what a fight here. Ooh. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cody Haddon. Cody Haddon obviously stepping in on short notice. And credit to him for taking the opportunity, but this is a tough ask going against Malcolm Wellmaker. Chris, who you got in this one? I think this is going to be a banger.
Oh, this is going to be insane. This is going to be one of the best fights of the night. I'm actually a little bit mad at this fight. Not at what the fight is going to bring, because it's going to bring some violence. Let me tell you that. I don't like how these two surging prospects are being pit up against each other at this moment in their career. I'm not big on the idea of, breaking one down. I'm not saying this fight's going to, kill their hype, because both are very, very solid fighters. Honestly, very good fighters. I'll put them in that category. I'm just not excited about two very good prospects going up against each other when I feel like they could have maybe met a little bit further down the line. Look, Malcolm Wellmaker, that dude has more power than Hercules, it seems like. Like, he touches you and you just fall. Like, that's what we've seen from Malcolm Wellmaker. Highlight reel stuff from him. Cody Haddon, very, very good technical striker, solid wrestler. What he did to Dan Argueta, I was very impressed. He defended like 20 takedowns, I think. From a very good grappler, in my opinion. His one loss on his career was in his second or third pro fight to Steve Erceg, who, we're finding more out about Steve Erceg as we go deeper into his career. And, some might think he's a fraud. Some might think he's still good. I have yet to decide that. But, still a solid loss to have as one of your, not even one of your lone loss in professional MMA. But I feel like I have to just go with Wellmaker on this one. I think that it's going to be a very good fight. We're going to see a ton of strikes, and both of these guys have what seems like almost a death touch. Cody Haddon, great power, but Wellmaker, man, you cannot let him get close to you. The one thing I'm concerned about with Wellmaker is his fight style is good. However, I feel like he hasn't really fought anyone that's going to make him pay for overextending on that, short right hook, because as compacted as it is, he does kind of just stand there and it's almost like a possum move. Like he'll bait you in and he doesn't even wind up. He just lifts his leg to feint a kick and then he throws it. And the fact that he has that much power off that one punch with one leg on the ground is actually insane. I thought that these odds, Malcolm Wellmaker, I believe, is like minus 160 right now. I was expecting the odds to be a little bit higher in his favor, a little bit shorter for Wellmaker. I was thinking around like minus 250. So there's a lot of credit being given to Cody Haddon. I would not be surprised if Cody Haddon won this fight. However, I like a lot what I see from Malcolm Wellmaker, and I feel like I'm going to take him. I think I'm going to take him by knockout because it could go to decision. But like I said, man, you just cannot let him hit you. When he hits you, it's like a Mack truck. But this is going to be a great fight. You want to tune into this fight. And UFC is very smart for making this the first prelim because it's not on ESPN Plus. It's not on pay-per-view. It's on ESPN. This will be on national television, so everyone can see it for free because you're going to want to see this fight. So I'm going to side with Malcolm Wellmaker. I think he's going to pull this out, but this might be another one that I change. I'm going to do a little more film study on Haddon, but we'll see.
Wellmaker is a legit prospect, dynamite in his hands, fast, very precise with his boxing. He's not just a brawler. He is technical and has excellent timing. Haddon can wrestle, and he'll definitely try to mix it in. But I think the side that you were kind of leading to it, but Haddon also gets hittable when he pressures and overextends on combos himself. So against a guy with Wellmaker's timing and power, that's dangerous. So I think this comes down to if Wellmaker stuffs takedowns or even just gets up quickly, I think Haddon is going to get caught clean. Cody Haddon has been off for a year. Wellmaker has been active. He's sharper. He's the better athlete. And he has legit knockout power. So I'm going to side with Malcolm Wellmaker. I'm going to say he gets it done by KO. I don't think this is, I think the Wellmaker side, if you wanted to bet a money line, is good. I think it's potentially a good parlay piece. I could see where you're going with potentially Haddon winning, but I think it would have to be through the wrestling. I think if this stays on the feet, I think Wellmaker is going to clip him. But, obviously it was supposed to be Wellmaker versus Serhai Sidey, and then he dropped out. Cody Haddon comes in. And you talk about matchups that, you're kind of a little bit frustrated at. There is one matchup on this card that I am genuinely frustrated at, and we're going to get into it. It's on the main card.
Okay.
But yes,
I know a matchup.
Yeah, I do think Malcolm Wellmaker gets it done here. And this should be a very big highlight moment for him. He gets the KO against a very game opponent in Cody Haddon in Madison Square Garden. His star potential will go through the roof if he gets done in the fashion that I think he will. So Malcolm Wellmaker, I think, will get it done here.
I think these two guys are going to blow the roof off the place, if I'm being
100%. It's going to be an awesome fight. And again, it'll come down to the wrestling. Just like in this fight, we talk about wrestling. Erin Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez. I look at this fight, and I think this has happened before. They fought before. Tracy Cortez won. So this is the second time they're fighting. I think Blanchfield is going to get her win back. Cortez won a split decision in the first meeting, but Blanchfield was a teenager. Since then, she has become one of the top grapplers in women's MMA. Her wrestling is elite. Her top control is elite. Her transitions are elite. And she is much more physical now than she was in that first fight. Cortez looked good against Viviane Araujo, but Blanchfield is a different level of pressure and submission threat. Blanchfield also has improved boxing and underrated durability. She can take some shots. Pause. She can out-wrestle Cortez. She can out-grapple Cortez. She can out-pressure Cortez. I think the only question in this fight is whether she finds the finish. I think Blanchfield is very much going to win. I'm going to say Erin Blanchfield wins by decision. I think the submission is very much in play. Cortez loves things on the ground, and if we're going to predict a specific type of submission, obviously you called the Darce earlier for what's his face, Susurkaev. I think Blanchfield will get it done. If it's by submission, I think she'll get it done by armbar. She loves armbars.
She does love armbars.
And I think it's very vulnerable in this case. Again, I just think Blanchfield just has all the advantages everywhere. She's grown a lot since that first fight, and I think it's going to be on full display here. Blanchfield is a premier women's fighter, and she will show it again in MSG. Give me Erin Blanchfield.
Yeah, I love how you just mentioned the first fight, and obviously, like it's something that you really need to pay attention to, especially in rematches and rematches that take place years after the original fight. I went back and watched that fight, and obviously Erin Blanchfield was a lot younger, and she's still a very young contender. I believe she's only 26. Cortez is 30, 31. And I mean, age doesn't really come into play here because they're both, they're both either in or getting towards their physical primes, athletic primes. But yeah, one thing I noticed is Blanchfield is much more assertive now than she was in that first fight. She is willing to take it to you and not be as passive. And the Cortez versus Araujo fight that you also oh God that you also just mentioned, that was impressive from Tracy Cortez to me, because Araujo, she's a very physical fighter, and we just talked about that with Pat Sabatini and Chepe Mariscal. But Tracy Cortez was able to pretty much dominate her in the grappling exchanges and on the ground. And I really took note of that. And I said, okay, I mean, I know Tracy's a grappler. She wants to get it there. She is pretty passive on the feet. But that kind of opened my eyes. But then you turn to Erin Blanchfield, 13-2. Her one loss in the UFC is to Manon Fior, who is a tremendous striker, tremendous at keeping distance. And I think Blanchfield, obviously, she earned that fight. I just don't think she was ready for that fight. Manon is a very good athlete, and she's a very good kickboxer, and she has good anti-grappling as well. It's going to be interesting because Blanchfield, no one has really tested the wrestling. No one really wants to test the wrestling. I think in this fight, we're going to see Tracy Cortez test the wrestling. The one thing that comes down to it for me, I think on the feet is what is going to matter more. Erin Blanchfield gets on top. She is not letting you go. She is going to stick to her game, very pressure heavy grappling. She's going to look for subs. She's always active when she gets you where she wants you. And Cortez, you can look at the striking. What does she average for significant strikes? Are you able to click the significant strikes tab?
I can look at it. Let's see here. Significant strikes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Blanchfield averages almost a strike and a half more landed per minute. You look at 3.8 strikes, give or take, for Tracy Cortez. A lot of that comes on the ground. She does not really stand and piece you up on the feet. She'll get you in the clinch. She'll get you to the ground, and she will try to assert her dominance that way. And for someone who doesn't really want to stand on the feet, I think Erin Blanchfield is going to take note of that, and she's really going to make her work. There's a lot of me that wants to take Tracy Cortez because I think she's going to keep coming forward. She also has that dog in her. She's going to keep coming forward. She's going to test Blanchfield's grappling. I think Blanchfield's just going to be a little bit too good. I'm going to take Erin Blanchfield by decision. I think that this is going to be a fight that really puts everyone back on notice and say, okay, all right, she's going to be ready now for this top 5, and she's really going to take a run at this belt. And she deserves it. She's a very good fighter. She's still evolving too, which is kind of crazy. And she's a very dominant grappler. I think this is going to be a solid fight. Don't get me wrong. It's going to take place a lot in the grappling exchanges. But if you like that, this is a fight you're going to want to tune in. Ooh, excuse me. This is a fight you're going to want to tune into. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Erin Blanchfield too. I like the value on Tracy, but I don't see her getting it done on Saturday night.
Both of us going Erin Blanchfield. We move up the card. Roman Kopylov versus Gregory RoboCop Rodrigues. Chris.
Yes.
Give us your pick.
I think this is going to be a good fight. There's going to be violence in this too. I can almost guarantee that Gregory Rodrigues is going to be bleeding within the first 2 minutes. This man has a tremendous amount of scar tissue on his face, which is crazy. And he's a dog. He literally does not care. He just keeps walking forward. That's why he has the name RoboCop. And it is very well earned. I am excited for this fight. I really want to see how Roman Kopylov bounces back from pretty much complete domination by Paulo Costa at UFC 318. It's interesting because Kopylov on the feet, very good. I would say he's a better striker than Rodrigues. He doesn't have more power. He does have a lot more weapons at his disposal. We've seen the head kicks. We've seen, the clinical kickboxing, the movement. He's very good at staying light on his feet, which allows him to attack from all angles. Gregory Rodrigues, he likes to strike too. He's not as technical as Kopylov, but dude has a death touch. if he hits you square in the face, it is going to hurt very badly. It will hurt. We saw what he did to Jack Hermanson, and Jack Hermanson, in my opinion, is kind of in limbo land right now. I'm not sure what he's doing. He takes a lot of time off. So I'm not going to use that fight to, have a gauge on this fight. The fight I'm going to use to gauge this fight, though, is that Paulo Costa Roman Kopylov fight. I think that Gregory Rodrigues and Paulo Costa are similar in the ways of pressure, heavy striking, and just not caring what is going to be thrown at them. I think that Gregory Rodrigues is going to win this fight. I'm going to say by knockout. I think that we're going to see a finish here. But I think he has more paths to victory here, because even though he likes to stand and strike, dude is a black belt in BJJ. He has tremendous groundwork, and he can shoot takedowns like no other. We just don't see it that often. I think that with all those weapons at his disposal, I don't think the stand-up game of Kopylov is going to be enough to overcome all the tools that Gregory Rodrigues displays. I think that the physicality is going to be a little bit too much here, and that's why I'm going to side with RoboCop to get it done against Kopylov. I think it'll be a solid fight for, maybe the first round and a half, but I think we're going to see that those heavy strikes from Gregory Rodrigues, they're going to make Kopylov think twice about, stepping in and trying to hit him with a 1-2, because he's also a very good counterpuncher. So I'm going to side with RoboCop here, and I think it'll be a solid fight. This is a good prelim fight.
Yeah, Roman Kopylov is clean and technical, sharp jab, slick kicks, great footwork. But RoboCop is a different physical problem, because RoboCop is huge. He hits like a truck. He pressures relentlessly. And you mentioned it. He has real power in every single shot. He also brings a wrestling and grappling threat that Kopylov just hasn't dealt with at this level. I mean, people forget, man. People forget. RoboCop had Jared Cannonier hurt multiple times. He flatlined Jack Hermanson, and he's looked sharper, with each passing fight. Kopylov is precise, but he doesn't have the kind of power needed to keep Gregory off him. So I do agree with your analysis 100%. If Rodrigues gets into the pocket, it is trouble. If he gets to the clinch, it is trouble. If it hits the mat, it is big trouble. I think RoboCop eventually finds the shot. I will say Gregory Rodrigues gets this done by knockout. If we go back, I feel like I've picked, let me see. I picked RoboCop by knockout, Wellmaker knockout, Dawkins knockout,
Susurkaev
knockout. So that's
Camilo
sub. And we're not even done with the prelims.
Hey, I told you guys. It's going to be a lot of finishes on this card.
Hey, I'll keep a knockout counter from here on out. So we're at 4 right now on my personal knockout counter. But let's get to this one. Do we see a knockout in Bo Nickal and Rodolfo Vieira? This is the crossroads fight of Bo Nickal's young career. If he loses, the hype train falls off a cliff. I don't think he loses. Vieira looked better on the feet against Tresean Gore, but I don't let that fool you. He is not suddenly a refined striker. I think his boxing is still basic, and he is slower than Bo in almost every category. Bo is the better athlete, better wrestler, obviously, faster, hits harder. And while Vieira is a world-class BJJ practitioner, MMA grappling is a different game when you're dealing with punches, athleticism. So I do think Bo can get caught grappling, with an elite jiu-jitsu guy, but I think he stays safe, maybe even lands something big up top. Vieira has been hurt before. He has been dropped. Bo's speed advantage is real. This might be the first time Bo truly shows people he is not just a wrestler. The kid has power. The knockout counter is up to 5.
Ooh.
Taking Bo Nickal by knockout.
Okay.
Not the sexy pick among the MMA masses. You know what? I'm pretty confident in Bo in this fight. I think he's going to get it done by KO.
Knows. Bo knows. Him by knockout is plus 275. Juicy.
I like that.
All right, Shrikar, who do you think I'm taking in this fight?
Bo.
Yeah. I threw up a smokescreen 2 days ago with Shrikar. I said, off rip, I kind of like Rodolfo Vieira. But yeah, I think Bo, he's going to get a sense of urgency that we have not seen from him before. I think that RDR fight is going to weigh heavy on his mind. And he's finally going to break out some good old MMA fight IQ that we haven't really seen from him before because he didn't really necessarily need it. I almost classified him with Joe Pyfer in terms of just looking for that one shot because Bo loves his power overhands. He loves it. He's just going to keep throwing it. And I know, you can go back. You can look at the Paul Craig fight. He went to decision with Paul Craig. He probably should have ran through Paul Craig. And then you look at the RDR fight where he gassed. He just didn't have a solid game plan for a guy like RDR. And RDR, Shrikar, you said this. I'm going to credit you because you were like, RDR is literally one of the biggest middleweights in the world. Like he's massive. The dude is he's enormous for 185. The fact that he can even make 185 is honestly beyond me. But I think that was a good loss that Bo Nickal needed to take, and especially in the way that he took it. The fight IQ is something that you have to work on. It doesn't just come naturally, especially with a wrestler who is looking to grapple. But, Bo, he likes to stand. He likes to stand up. I think Vieira is a tremendous athlete. Look at him. He's chiseled from stone. Dude is massive. He does have power. But I like what you said, Shrikar. His boxing is kind of basic. And the win against Trayshawn Gore, it's going to fool some people. They're going to see value in Vieira. And there might be value because if it hits the mat, which I'm almost going to guarantee that it is, he could catch him in a sub. He's a world-class BJJ athlete. And we've seen Bo have very good BJJ IQ. Especially on the Contender Series. And I know that's against low-level competition, but he can chain submissions together too. He is not a scrub in that world of mixed martial arts. I think that we're going to see a very calculated approach from Bo Nickal. And I honestly, I like the knockout pick. I'm going to side with Bo by finish because I think that he could take Vieira down, pressure him on the ground, just be a wet blanket to him, and really just, take the fight away from Vieira where he wants it to be. And Bo is very calculated on his takedowns. He's not going to shoot a blast double. He might get in on a single leg, but he's going to work. He's an amazing chain wrestler. And I would love to see just a straight wrestling match between him and someone like Hamzat, Islam, Umar, any of the, great Dagestani wrestlers, because this dude's one of the best in the world.
I'm going to say Hamzat kind of smokes him in a wrestling match, but
he might. No, he definitely could. But Bo is one of the best wrestlers walking planet Earth right now.
Sure.
Dude is 3-time national champion, Hodge Trophy winner. And I think that this is the fight that people are going to jump back on the hype train. Everyone called him a fraud after RDR. People are calling him a fraud after Paul Craig. I think that this is a perfect matchmake for Bo Nickal to reassert himself into a middleweight picture potentially. And he's only 29. He's obviously, that's a little bit older than you might like a prospect to be. But this dude is legit. He has all the skills and tools to be a good MMA fighter. I think this is the fight where we start to see it getting put all together. Bo by finish, I think, is very live. So that is my pick. And Bo by finish is plus 225. So not that much from the knockout standpoint. So if you want to play it a little safer and have 2 chances to win, I don't know, might be a little juicy prop.
Could be. Feature prelim. We are both going Bo Nickal by finish.
Bo knows.
Let's get to this main card. If you're still with us, make sure you like the video, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, and share the video if you can. It would mean a lot. We are about an hour in, and we are now getting to a absolutely stacked main card.
It's gonna be insane, bro. I'm excited.
Starting with our opener, Beneil Dariush versus Benoit Saint-Denis. And let's just get this out the way. Sam is picking Beneil Dariush.
He loves Benny.
I know he's picking.
I love Benny too. Benny's a dog.
So now that I know Sam's pick, Chris, I want to hear your pick. Who are you taking in this fight?
Are we 1,000% certain that Sam is taking Dariush?
He is taking Beneil Dariush. And you know what? If he actually, I won't put anything on it, but I don't think he's taking.
Ooh, wait, side wager for if Sam takes Dariush or not? A little $5 side wager?
Sure, I'll put 5 on it.
All right, I'll say that he's not going to take Dariush. A little friendly. Okay. Well, we can't. Yeah, we can't both take him to take Dariush unless is Sam the house. Let's just make Sam the house, and then
then he just gets all the money. Oh, I see what you're thinking. I said, okay, I'm down for that. Okay, so now that's the side wager.
The house always wins.
Yeah.
Damn it. So we'll go off the basis that Sam is taking Benny Dariush. I'm taking Benoit.
If it affects what our individual picks are.
Oh no, it doesn't affect it at all. I'm going Benoit Saint-Denis by knockout. I think that not even this version of Benoit Saint-Denis. I think Benoit Saint-Denis finally woke back up from him getting slept by Poirier. That roofie fight was very eye-opening to me. I feel like a lot of people, I'm not even going to say that because I'm not going to speak for people, but I would say a decent amount of people, thought that Mauricio Rufy was going to run through Benoit Saint-Denis, knock him out in his home country. And yeah, him being in France might have helped with inspire a finish there or, help invigorate an inspired Benoit Saint-Denis. I just think that Benny's he's getting to that point in his career where he's going to have to hang it up soon. I mean, the win against Moicano, it wasn't great. Let's be honest. Moicano did not fight a good fight. He was gassed after the first round. He even got dropped in the first round. Benny did. And Moicano kind of just literally watched the fight slip away from him round by round on the floor too, which is kind of crazy. He was out grappled. We've not seen that much from Moicano. And I don't know if that's speaking to how good Benny Dariush is or the trend downward that Renato Moicano is suffering. However, I think Benoit Saint-Denis is the guy that we've always thought he was, minus the Poirier knockout. He was this close to finishing Dustin Poirier and asserting himself into a lightweight title picture. And Poirier, being the dog that he is, pulled the rug out from under him. I think Benoit Saint-Denis is a world-class striker. He's a world-class grappler. This dude was a French special ops soldier. Isn't his nickname the God of War? Yeah. He literally is a God of War. He fought in wars. That's the perfect nickname for a fighter, if we're being completely honest, for someone like Benoit Saint-Denis. I think that the striking is going to be a little bit too crisp. I think we're going to see a knockout almost picturesque of what Arman Tsarukyan did to Benoit Saint-Denis. He's going to be faster. He's going to be stronger. He's going to be better everywhere on the mat. And I think we're going to see Benoit winning by knockout in round 1.
I think you meant to say what Arman did to Beneil.
Oh, yeah, Beneil. Sorry. It's a little late for me on the East Coast, but you guys picked up what I'm putting down.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. BSD has that aura, that pressure, that dog in him that forces people into uncomfortable brawls. And Dariush is very hittable. Dariush's grappling is still high level, but his chin is slipping. He has been dropped in a lot of recent fights, including the Moicano fight. And the damage is adding up. BSD is aggressive, has cardio that just doesn't fade, the elbows, the flurries, the dirty boxing, all nightmare scenarios for an aging lightweight with declining durability. If they trade, BSD hits harder. If they clinch, I think BSD is nastier in the clinch. If they scramble, BSD does not stop in scrambles. He is always active. This looks like Dariush getting overwhelmed. I'm going to agree with your pick straight on. I'm going to say Benoit Saint-Denis knocks out Beneil Dariush. I think he is going to get a statement win in MSG, put himself right back on the map. And if BSD does get it done by knockout, you're looking at a potential top 5 matchup for Benoit Saint-Denis, just like that, right again. You know,
and he deserved it.
They may have pushed him a little bit too early with the Poirier fight, but if he finishes Houfi and Dariush back to back, I don't think there's going to be much arguing against him getting a top 5 shot once again. And this will be a perfect statement moment for him. I think BSD will get it done. A huge, huge, massive way to open up the main card of UFC 322.
And BSD by knockout is plus 150. So
there you go. So the odds favor it happening too. It could go to decision. I wouldn't rule it out, but I don't trust Dariush's chin. I just don't. You're getting dropped by Money Moicano. BSD is going to drop you, and he is going to put you out cold. So give me BSD here. Both of us in lockstep. Another banger. Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. The first of our 3 massive welterweight fights on this card. This is the definition of danger against discipline. Leon Edwards is slick, one of the best range managers in the sport, but he has showed signs of slowing down. Flat versus Brady, flat versus Bilal. Mental lapses are becoming a trend. Carlos Prates is the opposite. Explosive, violent, stalking Muay Thai power. Everything he throws has serious consequences behind it. I look at this matchup, and the first thing I thought was Leon has not faced a true one-shot finisher in years. The guys who have troubled him recently have bothered him with pressure and wrestling, not power. Prates has the leg kicks, the elbows, the punching power to genuinely hurt Leon. And in a 3-round fight, Prates only needs a few moments, if we're being completely for real. I'm going to say Prates knocks out Leon Edwards. Straight up. So, I lost track of my knockout counter. We were you're at 5 with Nickel.
5, and now you're at 6, and now you're at 7.
We're at 7 knockouts.
Don't worry, I'm going to keep a knockout counter over your head in the edit.
7 knockouts on this card thus far. I think Carlos Prates starches Leon Edwards.
This is a tough matchup, man, because I actually was just speaking to Shrikar about Leon Edwards before we hit record, saying that Leon, in my opinion, I would say I feel like one of the worst is a little bit harsh. I wouldn't say he was one of the better champions in UFC history because he had Kamaru Usman's number, put up a stinker against Colby Covington.
I got dominated
by Bilal. But you got to give him credit. Dude was on a massive win streak before he lost to Bilal. And, how he wins those fights, what happened in the fight, doesn't matter. There are no pictures or videos on a record book. It is just straight numbers. You either win or you lose. And I think that you kind of alluded to it, what I was going to say. The people who have given Leon the most trouble, especially recently, his last 2 losses, were grapplers. I don't know if we're going to see a grapple-heavy approach from Leon, or we're going to see the old Leon Rocky Edwards that can stand there, be one of the best kickboxers in the UFC, piece you up, and, have his way with you. Prates, I think this being a 3-round fight benefits Prates so much because he is going to leave nothing to the imagination. He doesn't have to worry about a gas tank. He's going to go out there and put pedal to the metal for 3 5-minute rounds and try and get you out of there. Part of me wants to take Leon by decision. A big part of me does. Because him being such a veteran of the game and having a great corner too. He has great cornermen in his corner. I'm sure Fabian's going to be there as well, his brother, who won the PFL title in the exact way that he beat Kamaru Usman, besides the point. But Prates, the one fight that he's lost in the UFC, right? I believe Ian Gary was his one loss. No, right?
Yes. Prates lost to Gary, yep.
Yeah. What did Gary do in that fight? He took a grapple-heavy approach. I don't know what Leon not grapple heavy, but all right,
very much counters, light on the feet, yes. Bouncing around, moving.
That was I was speaking out of turn a little bit there. I would say
like more of a technical approach.
Yes, the difference maker in that fight was his technicality, which Leon has, and Gary ultimately getting into the mat occasionally. But that was a 5-round fight. That's a completely different game plan than a 3-round fight. A lot of me also thinks that Prates can just walk him down and do Carlos Prates things, be one of the best strikers in the UFC, and add another highlight reel finish to his resume. As of right now, I'm going to have to side with the hype train with Carlos Prates. I do, however, feel that this fight is a trap in terms of betting. Prates is sitting around, I believe, minus 180. I'm checking that right now. He's sitting at, as of right now, he is sitting at minus 175. And I think a lot of that has to do with Leon's past 2 fights. There's a lot of, recency bias when it comes to Leon Edwards. Because if he shows up and he is Leon Rocky Edwards, he is a great fighter. Do not get me wrong. I know I just had that whole spiel about, he's one of the worst champions, blah, blah, blah. He's still a good fighter. Like, I'm not taking that away from him at all. But, sometimes you just have to ride the hot hand. And the hot hand right now is Carlos Prates. I'm going to take him right now. I think he gets it done by knockout. Because if it goes to decision, Leon's winning, in my opinion. I think if it goes to decision, Leon did something right, and he fought a technical fight and outclassed Carlos Prates in an MMA fight, not a striking fight. So this is subject to change for me, but as of right now, I'm going with that boy that smokes cigs, Carlos Prates.
And what Chris said, maybe you're signed to do a nice little double chance. You go Leon by decision or Prates by knockout. Because I do have to agree, if it goes all 3, I don't know if it's going to be in Carlos's favor. You never know.
Never know.
He's a technical guy in his own right. He just has a punch behind it as well.
Right.
But both of us going with Carlos Prates here. Moving on to another massive welterweight fight.
Oh, so hard to pick.
Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. Now, okay, I mentioned earlier in the video, there was one fight where I was like, what in the world are we doing with the matchmaking? This is the fight. I don't understand this fight at all. I don't get it. Everyone saw it first glance and was like, oh yeah, this is a banger, huge welterweight fight. And I'm like, Sean Brady should not be fighting down this much. Michael Morales has guys in his range that he should be fighting. Build the reel more. Build up the win. I don't think this is the way to build up Morales. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree.
I think Sean Brady has better fights available for him. I think Michael Morales, I wanted to see Michael Morales and Joaquin Buckley. I think that would have been an incredible fight. Probably one of the best welterweight fights we've seen recently. I think it would have been that good. To put these two together, I feel like is big time matchmaking malpractice. I don't understand the point. But I guess now it's being billed as a title eliminator. I guess, do I think Michael Morales deserves that kind of push-up? I'm not saying he doesn't, but like, I feel bad for Sean Brady, man. I really do. I think Michael Morales could have used a little more slow cooking. But let's get into the matchup. This is one of the closest fights on the card. And the line kind of does reflect that. What are the odds right now? Let me see what they have.
Sean Brady is like minus 130. Yeah. That's a pretty short line.
The odds reflect it. Sean Brady is a monster on top. His BJJ is world class, and when he gets to dominant position, he is terrifying. But this is a big but, arguably the biggest but of the entire video. He is stiff on the feet. We have seen this guy wilt under pressure. Michael Morales has the fastest hands Brady has ever faced, the longest reach he has ever dealt with. And Morales comes from an Ecuadorian wrestling background, so his defensive wrestling is very real. Brady needs takedowns to win. Morales needs space to strike. I think Morales keeps enough space Where's the knockout counter? I think he eventually finds Brady's chin.
I think you're at
we're at 8 now.
8, yeah.
we have seen Brady get hurt badly before. By Belal Muhammad, no less.
Oh, don't bring up that fight.
Morales hits harder and cleaner than anyone he's fought to this point. I think Michael Morales is going to win this fight by knockout. I think he is going to start Sean Brady. Again, I feel bad. I don't think Sean Brady should have been fighting Michael Morales in the first place, but now that the matchup has been set up, and if Michael Morales goes out and starches him, then it's be like, maybe Morales was that good. Maybe he was that good. I wouldn't say Brady's that bad. I just think this is a very, very difficult stylistic matchup for him. So, yeah, unfortunately, I think Brady is going to go out in this one. I think Morales is going to get it done by KO.
Ooh, this is tough, man. You know how much I love Sean Brady. And you're right. This is such a bad stylistic matchup for him. Morales says, can you just scroll down a little bit on the page so the viewers can see the reach?
Yes.
Oh,
79 to 72.
7 inches, dude. Oh my God. That's huge. That's huge. Pause. But why is he getting the short end of the stick constantly? He has proven himself time and time again. Obviously, the Belal fight, there was just something off about him. Belal never wins by finish. Knockout at that. I was watching that fight. I was pissed. Obviously, might have had a little bit of money on Sean Brady, but wasn't pissed because of that. I was pissed because I like Sean Brady. I like what he brings to the table as an MMA fighter. Grappling, awesome. I believe he's from Philly too. He has that Philly boxing, Philly shell. He's very technical on the feet. And then you look at Michael Morales, an absolute specimen of a man. This dude is huge. He's also very young. He has the world ahead of him. There might be a day where we see Michael Morales as a UFC champion, and I would not be surprised just because he's that good. Takedown defense on par. 89%, just south of 90. That is insane, especially with the guys that he has fought. He has fought grapplers. He has fought strikers. As you can see on the screen, there are 2 zeros on his record. He has not lost yet. My God. I think this is where he loses. I gotta stick with my guy, bro. I gotta stick with my gut. I know this is gonna end up how it did against Belal Muhammad. I already know it. That's why gonna plug it again. Check the Instagram account. You see it on the bottom of the screen for Saturday predictions. We will post the final predictions. Maybe in the future we'll get better. We'll drop these videos like earlier in the week, and then we can do like a
like a revisit.
Yeah, like a revisit.
Well, we want to start doing streams after weigh-ins, and that's something that we've been trying to do, but the timing
definitely. I think that might be a good idea, so you guys don't have to run around and check for our final picks. But yeah, definitely check the Instagram. That is where the final picks drop. But as of right now, I think Sean Brady might be able to execute his game plan. And we haven't really seen Michael Morales face too much adversity. Sean Brady, very technical fighter. Great grappling. I want to say that he executes his game plan in this fight and proves why he is in the top 5 of welterweight and why he deserves a title shot. I think he needs this fight to really cement himself, because if he loses, I don't know where Sean Brady goes from this after. What do you think, Shrikar? Where does he go? Because it clearly seems like the UFC is just pushing him, not even to the back of the line, but back to the middle. Like, he gets up to the 4th spot in line, and they're like, all right, maybe go back to 8. Go back a little more. I feel like he takes 1 step forward and then 2 steps back, and it's not even because he lost. It's
I don't even think. I think it's because of the title fight they're about to get into, but
right. But I don't know. I feel bad. It's
unfortunate for Brady. I do think he could have gotten someone in that top 5, whether it was Shavkat or Kamaru. One of them could have fought Sean Brady. And this is my big problem, man. Like, I've said it millions of times, and it applies for Kamaru too. Kamaru is going to need a fight again before a title shot. You cannot be sitting there entitled thinking it's going to work. Now, I guess the only exception is Movsar Evloev. It looks like he's going to get a title shot after just kind of just sitting and waiting.
Not making weight.
But it's not encouraged is my whole thing.
I agree.
And if Sean Brady beats Michael Morales, I'm sorry, Kamaru, you're going to the back of the line. You're done. You need to fight. And that's the risk you play. That's the risk you play. Even if Michael Morales starches Sean Brady, it's like he's higher up than Kamaru is, because that is a more impressive win than Joaquin Buckley. You know, like. Mm-hmm. So I do think that I do think Sean Brady should have gotten a fight against Shavkat or Kamaru. I thought a fight with Shavkat would have made a lot of sense. I think a fight with Morales just wasn't. I don't think it was the right move for either of them. Like, obviously they're both going to sign the contracts because they're dogs, but you know, I don't think this was a good use of matchmaking by the UFC. But we'll see how it plays out on Saturday. I think it'll be a great fight. Just one that I'm like, I'm frustrated that this had to happen, you know?
I agree.
But we're split on this one. We'll see on Friday. I'm going to be sticking with Michael Morales. We'll see how the weigh-ins go.
Yep, let's definitely. Also,
yep.
By the way, Shrikar.
Yep.
I accept your fantasy trade.
Awesome.
David Njoku for Keon Coleman in our 16-man fantasy league. I need a tight end. Tyler Warren is out. I told Shrikar I'd drop it randomly during the podcast. Yeah, I accept your trade. Keon Coleman does nothing for me.
Fantastic. Let's get into these titles. Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. Weili obviously pursuing double champ status. Valentina Shevchenko, the mainstay of women's flyweight. Chris, what do you got here? This is elite versus elite.
Literally, great fight. Two of the GOATs. They'd honestly be the GOATs if Amanda Nunes wasn't alive or like didn't exist in women's MMA. But these are two of the most technical fighters and best fighters that you will ever see in women's MMA. And they've both been doing it for a very long time. Zhang Weili vacated her strawweight belt because she's trying to fry bigger fish in the state, and that is what she is getting in a fight with Valentina Shevchenko. Shevchenko, on one hand, she's been running the UFC flyweight division for longer than we can remember. We were in high school when she was knocking people out and asserting her dominance. And honestly, same thing with Zhang Weili with the women's strawweight division. Both have suffered, losses that they bounced back from. Shevchenko a little bit more recently with Alexa Grasso. She had a 4-fight, right? They fought 4 times. I'm not bugging, right? 3 times. No, 3 times. 4 times?
3 times. 3 times.
3 times, yeah. She had a trilogy with Grasso, which, you don't really want to see too often. It's just that the second fight ended in a draw. Zhang Weili was kind of, stunningly knocked out by Rose Namajunas on a beautiful head kick. So both of these women have dealt with adversity before. They have not always just dominated their respective divisions. Valentina, she likes to, be a jack of all trades. And I know you say jack of all trades, master of none. She's jack of all trades, master of all. Yeah. There is not a place where the fight can go that she is going to be uncomfortable. She can execute whatever game plan she wants to. We also saw against Manon Fior in her last fight. She dealt with a lot of adversity from Manon. Manon put up a great fight. She kind of got to her on the feet. She was piecing her up, and it was one strike, in my opinion, that really changed the fight. She landed, I believe, a straight right hand, or left hand, because she fights southpaw. Straight left hand that broke Manon's nose. And after that, Manon was not the same. And I know you can kind of chalk it up to, if that didn't happen, you can't really say that because it did happen. And that's Manon's job to fight through adversity. And that was all because of Valentina's doing. She is a masterful striker. She likes to bait you into, doing what she wants you to do. And then she's a master at countering. Leg kicks, superb. Rights and lefts, superb. She will take you down if she wants to, and she has all the makings to submit you on the floor. Zhang Weili, pretty much a mirror image. I feel like this is a mirror image fight of two very technical girls women, excuse me, not girls, women. We respect women in the war room.
Yes,
Two very technical women that are comfortable wherever the fight goes. This fight is so hard to pick for me. And like I said, subject to change. Check the Instagram Saturday morning. I'm literally going to put a little banner under the screen we're showing you so you guys can remember to do that. As of right now, I'm going to go with Val. I think she's going to be a little bit bigger in this fight, and not saying anything about Zhang Weili's size because they're pretty much the same size, 5'4", 5'5". The reach is pretty much the same thing. Also, Zhang Weili is strong as hell for a women's strawweight. You saw her pick up Shaq. She's picked up Francis Ngannou like a hot knife through butter. It's honestly scary how strong she is. She could probably bench press me 30 times. And I would just be like, okay, you got it. These are two women that are just great in everything they do. I think that Valentina, she's going to be a little bit bigger in a sense of she's fought bigger women in her career. She's even gone up to bantamweight to fight Nunes a few times. She lost both of those, but I think maybe just having that experience in this division might carry her over the edge a little bit. And I know we talk about, lighter man skill, lighter women's skill. That definitely exists here. I just feel like it might cancel out when you have a striker like Valentina that is just as good of a striker as Zhang Weili. I would not be surprised at all in the slightest if Zhang Weili won. You could literally flip a coin and put one of them as heads and tails, and that would be, just as good as making a pick on this fight, in my opinion. But obviously, someone has to win. I'm going to side with Val. I think Zhang Weili is an amazing fighter, and I might even switch to her before we get those picks out. But that is my pick as of right now. And I'm going to say by decision. I do not see anyone getting finished in this fight.
This is like the dream and the nightmare for me because Valentina Shevchenko and Zhang Weili are my two favorite women's fighters in the sport. Yeah. So
I hate when they
watching one win is going to be great, but watching one lose is going to hurt, just as much as the winning feeling would be like. I'm leaning Zhang Weili. Valentina is still great, but she has slowed just enough for someone as fast as Weili to take advantage. Weili at 125 is going to be explosive, still extremely strong. You mentioned it. Mm-hmm. She can wrestle, she can scramble, she can strike in combos. And she's been adding layers to her grappling every fight.
I agree.
Valentina has struggled with younger, faster opponents recently. Taila Santos, Alexa Grasso. You mentioned the Fior fight, even moments against Manon Fior. And Weili is the fastest, strongest, most dynamic fighter she has fought in years.
I agree.
I think Weili surprises people in the grappling exchanges and wins more minutes on the feet. I think Zhang Weili is going to get it done. I think she's going to get it done by decision. You mentioned it. I think the odds reflected too. This is basically a coin flip.
I would say Val's just getting the bias of being the champ and how I guess her longevity, and that's probably why she's a slight favorite. But like I said,
we've had conversations too on stream about the concept of lighter man skill or lighter woman skill. I think that will come into play here. I definitely think it will.
Yep.
Zhang Weili, I think, is going to be very, very much formidable at flyweight. I think she is going to look really good. I think she's going to look really good at flyweight. It's just the speed advantage. It's the speed advantage. Mm-hmm. The fact that Val is getting older. She's kind of come on the cusp of losing the belt. Obviously, I mentioned the Santos fight. She did lose to Grasso. She had to win the belt back. Fior almost got it done against Val. That was a very close fight. It'll be the I guess the straw that broke the camel's back, per se, that Zhang Weili comes up and ultimately is the one to defeat Valentina Shevchenko, which again, we don't see many do it at flyweight. Grasso is really the only one we've seen beat Val in this weight class, and I do think Zhang Weili will be the next. So,
that was a good quote. I've never heard that before.
You've never heard that? The straw that broke the camel's back?
No.
Yeah. Good saying. Good saying.
Yeah, that is a good saying. I'm gonna steal that and then put like a little dash Shrikar Rajendran.
It'll definitely come into play in this fight.
Yeah,
So
no. Oh, okay, wait, quick question.
Yeah.
And we can go on because we've been on pod for quite a minute. And if you guys are still with us, thank you. Like the video, subscribe. We appreciate it.
Yep.
If Zhang Weili loses, do you see her going back to strawweight or still being a contender at flyweight?
No. She will go back down to strawweight and she will crush Mackenzie Dern. I'll say that right now. She will absolutely smoke Mackenzie Dern if she loses this fight and ends up going back down to strawweight. That's how good I think Zhang Weili is.
She is insane.
No matter if Yonderova or Dern won that fight, I think Zhang Weili would have come down and beat both of them on the same night, back to back.
Yeah,
it would have been light work. But I do think Zhang Weili will get it done, and we'll be talking about Zhang Weili after this fight as one of the women's MMA GOATs. You know, you get the double champ status. That is huge for her legacy, and obviously beating an opponent as technical, as talented, and as dominant of a force as Valentina Shevchenko. Zhang Weili would go down as one of the women's MMA GOATs, and in my opinion, she would probably be second to Nunes.
I agree. I'm going to be completely honest. I agree with that.
If she beats Valentina Shevchenko and then beats Natalia Silva, I'll put her over Nunes. I don't even care. I will put her over Nunes. I think those two wins back to back, in addition to what she's been doing at strawweight, in addition to the talent she possesses, the absolute incredible speed that she has, she will go down as the women's MMA GOAT. There is a path here.
I agree.
I think one of the big steps, one of the big milestones will be completed in Madison Square Garden Saturday night. Let's get to our main event.
Ooh.
Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. Here it is. It's the big one. And I'm going with Jack Della Maddalena.
Yes!
Islam is incredible. Great kicker, dangerous from the clinch, elite grappling. But moving to 170 changes everything. We talked about lighter man skill with Weili and Valentina. I think that same thing does not apply here. I think it's much more of a tougher bulk. I mean, this is the toughest bulk to make in mixed martial arts. The 155 to 170 definitely is tough. Jack is younger, longer, has some of the best combos in the sport, some of the best boxing in the sport, and his get-up game is special. What he showed against Belal Muhammad told us a lot. It really did. He was getting taken down and he was popping right back up. Mind you, Belal was holding down every other. I mean, this was a guy on a tear in that division. Almost seemed formidable with the pressure that he was putting on opponents and the pace that he was setting. JDM was really handling himself well in that fight. You look at who he's been working with. Craig Jones has been preparing him for Islam for quite some time now. You know, it's always been said that Craig Jones has the game plan on how to beat the Dagestani wrestling, how to beat the Sambo guys, how to beat that blueprint. I do believe it, man. I mean, to an extent, I really do believe it. And Jack scrambling really just looks built for this matchup. Now, the key detail, Islam's best takedowns come against the fence. Jack is one of the best fighters in the sport at holding the center, not letting anyone put the pace on him. And again, we'll go back to that Belal fight. Belal was a guy that was always trucking forward, trying to set up the takedown, trying to, make you reactive. JDM was not falling for it. And that's also kind of what partially made Belal's takedowns so ineffective in that fight. Yes, you could argue Belal didn't shoot enough takedowns. But it's also because when there's a guy that's actually putting a pace on you, when you're on the back foot, and he's coming at you with, winging hooks and, with very sharp combos, you're not going to be able to initiate takedowns as well. And Belal knew that. And, after the fight, he went out and said, oh, yeah, this wasn't the game plan and all that. He was kind of feeding into what the fans were saying. I disagree. I think it was more of JDM's doing than Belal's doing. And that says a lot. And that's going to tell us a lot when we look at this Islam matchup. If he can hold the center, and if Islam can't consistently pin him, this becomes a boxing match. And in a boxing match, Jack wins. Islam has been hurt before. He has been knocked out before. we have the counter still up. Jack's accuracy and hand speed are different from anything that, he's faced. I think Jack survives the early wrestling, breaks Islam late in this fight. I think JDM is going to win this one by knockout.
It's up to 9.
9 knockouts is where we will stand for UFC 322. And I think JDM will get it done 4th or 5th round. I think he is going to win this fight by knockout or TKO. I just think he's going to break Islam. And it's so tough to say that because Islam is the guy that is known for breaking people. But JDM is different, man. There is something I saw in that Belal fight when I watched it back over the weekend that I was like, because mind you, my thoughts on this fight have changed a lot. I initially came out and said JDM would win, and then I kind of was thinking Islam, and then I watched the JDM Belal fight, and I was like, and it has to be said, going from a fight camp with Belal to a fight camp with Islam, it's very similar camps, which I think does help JDM. Yeah, I'm going to go JDM by knockout, and I think he's going to do it in the later rounds.
Shrikar, you got me hype right now, bro. I'm telling you, I've been saying this for a long time. When was this fight announced? August 28th. I believe we had a stream right after it was announced. Honestly, the day it was announced. I said right then and there. How long ago was that? That was, sorry, math bad. 2.5 months ago. I got it. Don't worry. The cogs are turning up here. I said it 2.5 months ago. JDM is winning this fight. This man has been counted out time and time again, and he comes out and puts on a masterful performance. Shrikar, you put it perfectly. Islam loves running people up to the fence. Very, very skilled at MMA grappling, straight up grappling, wrestling, but he likes using the fence as his friend. That is something that we've seen countless times against every opponent that he's faced, except for Moicano, who he just ran through because that was, we won't mention Arman's name in this, even though I just did, but the whole escapade that happened with that fight. JDM does not back down. He does not concede ground. And if you're going to stand in the pocket with JDM, you better be ready to get hit with absolute sledgehammers. This guy hits like no other. We've seen Islam get hurt. And I want to bring up the Adriano Martins knockout loss that Islam suffered in 2018. I'm not going to do it because that was a long time ago. I think Islam learned a lot from that, and he's very much improved in his game. But even in his most recent fights, he has been tagged. Poirier tagged him up. Volk tagged him up. And, those are premier athletes. Those are the guys that you really, you look at those fights and you use that as a measuring stick. Obviously, you don't want to use the second Volk fight because we know how that ended. Even Charles wasn't really able to get going. King Green, no. Dan Hooker, not really. There was literally 6 strikes thrown in the Dan Hooker fight, and he's a premier striker. The thing is with JDM, you can't let him hit you. He has power that, the fact that Belal didn't get knocked out, I think speaks a lot to his chin and his durability, because his face after the fight, it looked like someone hit him with a brick over and over and over again. And you know what? Like, everyone hates on Belal. Credit to Belal, man. You're a dog for being able to stay in that long and still throwing your own punches. But with Islam, look, he is tremendous. I can't say it enough. Creatine Islam might be different. We don't know yet because, that bulk to 170, there were a lot of reports that he was struggling a lot. Probably started taking creatine. Now he's up to 190. Creatine does wonders. Natural supplement. Obviously, it is not illegal. A lot of people use it in their daily life. But the thing is with JDM is he's naturally that big. He probably walks around at like 190, 195. He doesn't have to cut too much. He's been fighting this weight his entire career. And I like how you brought in lighter man skill to this, Shrikar, and you mentioned that it doesn't really apply when you're making this big of a jump. And I feel like it's interesting because the UFC weight class is how it's set up from 125 to 155. It's all 10 pounds. And then when you start getting to the higher weight classes, the lenience is bigger. It goes 15 pounds, 15 pounds, 15 pounds, and then obviously 265 for heavyweight. The bigger you get, no matter who you are going to move slower. And I think Islam had a big advantage over people because he was very fast. He does a lot of training for speed, explosiveness, and it works. Don't get me wrong. If he is not able to get JDM down and hold him there, there is going to be a lot of problems for Islam Makhachev. JDM can hold the center of the octagon, just like Shrikar said, and he can tee off. The big thing in this fight is going to be the scrambles, because Islam's undoubtedly going to shoot. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not going to shoot. He is going to shoot multiple times, probably upwards of 10 times, if we're being completely honest. It's just a matter of how much Jack makes him pay for that. Because you cannot stand in front of this guy and expect pillow hands to be coming your way. This guy throws with immense force, and he will knock you out. You said he's going to do it in the later rounds? I'm saying JDM in round 2. JDM by knockout in round 2. I think we see this done early. I think he tags up Islam. Islam gets a little scared, and he's going to be on the prowl, JDM. That man is different. He is different. And him at plus 220.
Yeah, I was about to say, the odds are disrespectful.
I am licking my fingers at that. That is beautiful. Beautiful. Give me JDM.
I thought this fight should have been a pick'em.
I agree. I've been saying it for months. I'm not going back on my gut. One of my friends, shout out Enk. We talk about this at the gym. He's from the Middle East. He loves all the Middle Eastern fighters. He telling me, he's like, bro, why are you taking JDM? Bro, like, you got to take Islam. I told him straight to his face, I'm taking JDM. I'm sticking to my word. He's going to throw down on Saturday night. And still.
So, my knockout counter went up to 9. We couldn't get the perfect 10. And I don't think there's any fight that I'm going to go back and I'm going to reverse to a knockout just to get the 10.
I'm not going to lie. I think I'm on the same boat as you.
You had 9 as well. This is going to be a knockout heavy card.
I know. Wait. Go back through the fights. I'm pretty sure every fight that we agreed on by knockout. Oh no, I took Susurkaev by sub.
Yeah. See, I got Baisangur by knockout.
Okay, so I think I have 8.
I have Dawkins by knockout. Wellmaker knockout.
Same.
RoboCop knockout. Nickel knockout.
Same.
BSD knockout. Cortez knockout.
Same.
Morales knockout.
Oh no, I took what did I even
Brady.
take? I didn't even give a prop for that. I would say Brady by I'm gonna say Brady by sub. How about that?
I'll stick with Morales knockout.
Yeah.
Weili decision and JDM knockout. Yeah.
All right, so 9 and 7.
If this proved anything, we're not seeing many decisions on this card. There is going to be a lot of finishes. It's going to be a lot of fun. We went for about an hour and 40 minutes. Big cards deserve this much attention.
Agreed.
We have been waiting for this one for a while. I think this is one of the best cards in modern UFC history. You could argue it is the best one since 300 when you look at the stakes, what is on the line, the card as a whole. I mean, I will be seated 30 minutes before it starts until it is over. And then maybe I'll watch the post show with Anthony Smith if I feel up for it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I love the post show. It's so funny.
It's just like a nice little, I'm just sitting there like blasted. I'm just looking at it.
It's like a wind down. And then I like watching the post-fight press conferences. I like to see what the fighters have to say.
And there will definitely be a lot to say after this one. Welterweight is going to have a big shakeup. We're going to see what's going to happen. Both of us riding with JDM in the main event. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, subscribe, share the video, turn on those post notifications, whatever you can to help us out, help with the algorithm, follow the socials down below. We're very sorry we couldn't have Sam here, and we're very sorry we've been slacking. We are trying. We're just in a funk right now. We're going to get out of the funk, hopefully, slowly.
We got you guys.
We'll start getting on the streams a little bit more. But we hope you guys enjoy UFC 322. I know all of us in the War Room will. And we will be ready to go with the recap right after, and we will see you when that happens. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hopping in the War Room with us. For Chris Schroyer, I'm Shrikar Rajendran saying so long and have a good one.